の谷間の暗闇に
Irving Man.
キラリと光る光の目
Irving Man.
安らぎ
As our story opens today, Hitomi is taking pictures of a young girl somewhere.
はい、笑って。
おかしくもねえのに笑うのか？
そうよ。あなたモデルなのよ。なにその笑い方。もっと可愛らしく笑うのよ。胸のペンダントを手にしてにっこり笑って。はい、チーズ。
That made her smile. She's obviously very fond of that pendant. In fact, throughout the episode, she won't let anyone else touch it. We, and later on our hero, are more curious about the big spider embedded in it as though it's preserved in amber. Hitomi doesn't care about spiders. She hopes to get these photos published in a nationwide weekly magazine. As she wraps up and takes her leave, the girl has another visitor. Crows are some of the smartest creatures on the planet. They have an instinct for avoiding danger that's almost supernatural. She just nailed that one in the air with a rock. Who is this kid? She starts accusing it of stealing yesterday's offering to the harvest god.
Otokonoko ibiru, yasei no sugoi shojo.
The incredible wild girl who bullies boys. As you know, I like to take some of these and put them into Google Translate. Just to prove I didn't make up something that goofy, I took a screenshot. This one really came out, boy, evil, wild, amazing virgin. We'll leave the girl to argue with that crow so we can note that the magazine did print Hitomi's pictures. They caught someone's eye.
モンスター教授、
何事だ。
どうしてもご覧いただきたいものがあります。このペンダントをご覧ください。
ん？これはスパイダー製のペンダントだ。
I told you we needed to be interested in that spider pendant. It came from Planet Spider. Professor Monster recounts their conquest of Planet Spider and all the goodies they plundered, including several pendants like that one. Then, how did it end up around a little girl's neck?
ところがじゃよ、スパイダー製から奪った金銀財宝を持って地球に着陸する折、宇宙船が故障を起こし爆発した。
Just before the ship exploded, he got into an escape pod, but the treasure didn't. 400 years later, he still doesn't know what happened to it and had almost given up on it. Interest rekindled.
わしはそれ以来、スパイダー製の財宝の行方を探していたのだが、皆目見当つかなかった。アマゾネス、スパイダー製の財宝の行方を探せ。まず少女のペンダントを手に入れるのだ。
はい。
We just can't make up our minds about the Amazoness. She's back to the black wig, but still with the tiara and with a new outfit that, for the life of me, looks a lot like pajamas. She's also uncharacteristically subservient today. She's acting more like a slave than his second in command. I don't like it. The most appealing thing about the Amazoness is the sense of danger that radiates from her. I've talked about that evil laugh of hers many times. None of that is on display today, and it doesn't make sense. She's Chip Morton to his Captain Crane. The captain gives the orders, and Chip makes sure they're carried out. When he's doing that, he and the captain are functionally equivalent. His words carry the same weight as the captain's. That's been the Amazoness's role from the beginning. Whoever wrote this episode doesn't seem to have known that. Let that be a lesson to everyone. Before you write an episode for a Japanese superhero story, watch Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, especially my reviews thereof.
わあ、
すごいや、ひとみお姉ちゃんの写真が週刊誌に載るなんて。
とうとうやったわね。おめでとう。ありがとう。私これまで何度自分の才能のなさに絶望したことか。雑誌社に写真を持ち込んでは断られ、何台もカメラを叩き壊したわ。悔しくて夜も眠れないことが苦労したのよね。
She's finally heading to the big time. I understand the tears. All those years of tension, wondering if she really has what it takes, all the setbacks and letdowns, and now that she's finally on her way, all the stress of those things is suddenly released, and the energy has to go somewhere. I know the feeling. A long time ago, I published a story about getting caught on the road in a whiteout blizzard. I had 5 other souls in the car with me and couldn't see a thing. The problem was, we were on a busy highway going through a canyon that was a major thoroughfare, so I didn't dare stop. There was a sheer mountain on this side and a river on that side, and I couldn't see either one. When we finally got out of it, we stopped at a little restaurant. We got into a booth big enough for all of us, and suddenly all the stress released at once, and I literally cried just like that for a solid hour. Shinko shows Takia the pictures. He's excited for his girl, but he's a lot more than that.
超能力を持つ山城拓也は少女の胸のペンダントが放つ怪しい光を感じ取った。ここは林や農家が残っている東京の郊外である。
いて、うるさい。ネズミっ子。オラをバカにすると許さねえぞ。ほらどけ。
I've read How to Win Friends and Influence People. I don't remember a chapter about beating them with a stick.
なんだおめえ。何すんの。
あいて。
ふざけた真似すんな。
ごめん。そのペンダントちょっと見せてくれないか。
ダメだ。
見せるぐらいいいじゃないか。
There are many times when we've wondered about Takia, and this is another one. He's a total stranger. He walks up without saying a word and acts as though he's going to take her pendant. And he's surprised when she slaps his hand away and won't even let him see it. Really?
そこで何してるだ。
This kid is nasty with a rock. Doesn't matter whether you're a crow or a birdman, she'll give you a serious headache. Takia is more interested in why the Iron Cross Army is hanging around her. First things first, where there's one birdman, there will be more. Enter Spiderman. Yeah, disappearing like that is a thing they do. Fortunately, he can sense where they're going to reappear.
Spider-Man!
While he was doing that, our little girl wandered off. Right now, she's bored and wishing she had someone to play with.
やあ。
おめえが人気者のスパイダーマン。おめえ強いんだってな。
さあどうかな。退屈そうだね。遊んであげようか。
本当け？
うん。その代わりそのペンダントをどうしたのか教えてくれ。
おめえもこのペンダント狙っているのか？
狙っているわけじゃない。ただ
She won't let him near it or tell him anything about it, so he says, "Okay, I guess I don't want to play with you."
待ってくれ。 オラとの勝負に勝ったら教えてやる。
勝負？
真剣勝負だ。
He's twice her size and has spider powers. She wants to fight? Well, if it's the only way to learn about the pendant. But he's having trouble bringing himself to do anything.
オラは女だと思ってバカにすると痛い目を見るぞ。来い、スパイダーマン。
She isn't. She's a lot stronger and faster than he thought, and the reality is she's right. He can't beat her. He has to retreat and escape. Again, who is this kid? He follows her to her home and watches her prepare and present an offering to this harvest god.
君は信心深いんだね。
オラの村に守り神のお稲荷さんがあっただ。オラの父ちゃんで稼ぎに行っていた。オラは毎日父ちゃんの無事をお稲荷さんに祈っただ。
Her dad worked construction on the high steel. Every day she'd make an offering to the guardian harvest god and pray for her dad's safety. One day, she forgot. That happened to be the day that her dad fell.
おっかは言った。おめえがお供えを忘れたから、お稲荷さんのお狐様が怒って、お父が死んだ。
まさか。
いや、おっかの言う通りだ。お父を殺したのはオラなんだ。
Her mother should be put in prison for that. Telling this child that it's her fault her dad died is as cruel as anything I've ever seen. Her mother died shortly after that, and she had to come here to the outskirts of Tokyo so she could live with her aunt. She steals food and takes it to the shrine every day because she lives in terror of this harvest god's fox that kills the people he's supposed to protect if he doesn't get enough to eat. That's a whole separate source of anger for me, and I probably shouldn't go into it because it'll take us too far afield.
しかしどうして君はすごい力を持っているのかな。
オラにもわかんねえ。ただ、
どうした？
このペンダントをぶら下げたら力が強くなったんだよ。
Ask Spiderman. In fact, explain to her why you want to look at it. I don't know, maybe he likes having his hand slapped.
何？スパイダーマンもあのペンダントを狙っている。
は、
アマゾナス。あのペンダントは超能力を発揮する素晴らしいものだ。何としてもペンダントを手に入れ、スパイダー星の残りの財宝の行方を探すのだ。
少女をたぶらかし、ペンダントの秘密を聞き出すのには、たぶらかし専門の火炎狐がうってつけかと。
Somehow they know she's afraid of a supernatural fox, and suddenly they have a whole stable of machine bems. But they can't use Firefox as a web browser because it's 1978 and the World Wide Web wasn't invented until 1990. That night, the girl has a dream about the harvest god's fox from back home and wakes up with the feeling that it's trying to tell her something.
お狐様が泣いた。
He takes her to the shrine at sunrise and wants to know where she got the pendant.
早く言うのじゃ。
これはな。
いやんじゃない。この量の
Hey, Spider-Man, maybe next time you should have a plan. Winging it doesn't seem to be bringing much success. Still, it chased him away for now. Later, our girl is doing what she does, pushing the other kids around. It's a good thing Takaya was on his bike, isn't it? That way he can keep up with the car and find out where they're taking the girl. He can guess to whom they're taking her.
オラを誘拐したって1円にもならねえぞこのバカ野郎何するんだ
どこから手に入れたいえ
言うもんか
そのペンダントは遠い宇宙の星スパイダー製の財宝だお前が持っていても仕方がない
This is too good. The Amazoness is explaining things to a child. Even if they do end up with the pendant, this kid is already one in my book. I had to find out, so I found a channel called Japanese Ammo with Misa. She explained that pulling your lower eyelid down and sticking out your tongue like that is basically a child's taunt. American kids would probably go like this. She also explained that in Japan, hands by your head like that means, aren't I cute?
死にたくなければペンダントを誰から手に入れたか言え
嫌だ熱いよ助けてくれ
I don't know why Spider-Man is just sitting there letting Firefox hem her in tighter and tighter like that. Under pressure from the fire, she confesses that her father gave it to her. He found it at a construction site one day while they were digging a foundation.
何
地下を掘ってたらこのペンダントがあったんだとよ
その工事現場はどこだ
ほら知らね熱い助けてくれよ熱いよ
Oh, I see. He was waiting for the exposition dump to finish. Now he'll rescue her. But the Amazoness's expression says she knows the implications of that exposition dump.
Yaseiの少女に味方する男スパイダーマン
I love that move where he's on the wall and he turns around like that. I really want to see how it was done. He fights Birdman until the music finishes, and then it's time for Firefox. Wow, that's a great POV shot. Spider-Man looking like a tiny bug gives us an idea just how big these things grow. And we know none of them can stand up to Marveler.
Marveler, Canon, 発射 Marveler, change Leopardon. Leopardon, sword picker.
Straight to the sword. You could get the feeling he doesn't like that guy. The Amazoness is reporting those implications I mentioned to Professor Monster.
何
パイダー製の財宝の行方がわからんと申すのか。
出稼ぎに出た少女の父親はすでに死亡。追跡するのは不可能です。
Yep, after all that, they got nowhere. Her dad never said where the construction site was, and if he had, it wouldn't have meant anything to the girl, so it wouldn't have stayed with her. All that tormenting and torturing a young child, and they wound up with nothing. Seems appropriate.
見ていろ。いつか必ずスパイダー製の財宝を手に入れてやる。
That's the first time we've seen him break the fourth wall, and he did it to say absolutely nothing. Empty bluster. I'm gonna get it!
Don't believe me, just watch.
これやるよ。
しかしこれはお父さんがプレゼントしてくれた宝物だろう。
ほら、たった今限り弟かのことを忘れるだ。いつまでも弟かのことを思い出していちゃおばさんたちや友達に好かれんもんな。
It's not so much brooding over her parents as it is drowning in guilt over them. She needs to get rid of that and understand that she had nothing to do with it. Sometimes things happen and there's no explanation or fault. We live in a fallen, fallible world. That's the long and short of it.
そうだ、素直な子になりみんなに可愛がってもらうんだよ。
スパイダーマン。
Finally, she can start really letting it all out. I hope from here she can get some counseling and understand that nothing was her fault. Remember the movie Flatliners? Julia Roberts' character had some repressed memories that amounted to the same thing. Her dad came back from Vietnam a heroin addict. She wasn't all that old when one day she happened to walk in on him while he was shooting up. He was so ashamed he shot up a different way. Even as the shot rang out, her mother was shaking her and screaming, "This is your fault. This is your fault." During her experience while flatlined, she was able to resolve that with her dad. I really hope all this girl needs to do is talk to somebody. If her situation gets that drastic, they'd have to make another movie.
闇深く響く地獄の足音模様の下眠る父よ胸に秘めた非常の定めさらば友よ誓いの友よ俺はただ一人俺はただ一人親を走る
Prove I didn't make something up that something make up something. Okay, let's try this again. This kid is nasty with a rock. Doesn't matter that matter. I hope from here she can get some